Howdy folks, and welcome back to the second episode of my series to make Italy great again. So to improve, I would say, the game stability and game performance, even though I'm playing with the complete full mod Total War without any other option, as you may have seen in the difficulty settings, I chose to control the AI, to weaken the AI of the South American nations and not of the Middle East. This is just because, as I said in the previous episode, one of the goals of this campaign is to wait until the UK declares war on Iraq, and if you weaken Iraq too much, it will just be a walkover for the AI and it's game over for you. And in the meantime, I did a massive, let's say, cleanup of all of those nations which did not have a crucial role in World War II, namely Switzerland, Portugal, the British O Islands, I think it's BOI in the tag game, South America, Afghanistan, Xinjiang, Tibet, and I think Mongolia as well. So I just basically I did them manually one by one. I removed all of their divisions, all of their equipment, all of their manpower, as this should prevent, let's say, the infamous spam of divisions that just will slow down the game in the late phases of it, basically. Now, concerning Italy, as I already showed you in the previous episode, I focused mainly in expanding a bit my civilian factories in terms of construction wise, and then I put in the production queue 20 military factories. I also removed the tactical bombers, as in my campaign I have no intention of building nor using them. In terms of research, I focused exclusively on the industry, because, as I said, this is where Italy is lacking behind in the most of it, basically, and also because I want to have synthetic refineries and build up synthetic rubber plants. Even though I can spoiler it already, I have plans to expand the rubber production in Ethiopia, and as Ethiopia will stay out of the war for quite a long time, I may not have problems in getting rubber supplied from my own puppet. And I focused, besides, let's say, the construction and research aspects, I focused on the Ethiopian war, and I fought this war in a very light way because my goal was to farm as much experience as possible, to reform, to readjust the templates of my divisions. And I confess I also did added some small buffs to Ethiopia. I think the first 3 technologies of the Grand Battle Plan doctrine that will increase the defense and organization of the troops, and this may explain why the Ethiopian war lasted so long. After the fighting in Ethiopia, I took my time to reshape the divisions of my army. The infantry divisions, as you may have seen, consist of 9 standard infantry battalions, 1 light artillery, and 1 towed anti-tank guns. I put the motorized logistic company because I know this is the most expensive one in terms of equipment needed, but of course it's also the one which will give me the highest bonus in terms of supply consumption reduction. And because I will be fighting in the desert, I thought, okay, maybe it's better to have those kind of extra supply companies compared to the semi-motorized company. Now, by the time I finished reorganizing my army and I've put everything into production, the Spanish Civil War triggered. Here, as one of you guys suggested in one of my previous videos, I invested a lot of army experience in upgrading my uniforms, and in particular I made them better and I made them cheaper, which I think it's a good advantage, it's a good investment in the long term, just to have slightly cheaper uniforms so you can sacrifice one or two military factories to build something more relevant than just uniforms. I focused here at this point on the Regio Esercito, the Royal Army focus, just because of the juicy free military factories available. And I sent, well, since the Spanish Civil War broke out, I sent down there two cavalry divisions, the fast cavalry divisions, under the command of General Tellera, as this guy is one of, I think, the only one who has the Panzer leader trait. I think I did a mistake here, because I should have changed the order, not order of battle, but the organization, the structure of the division before sending it to Spain, because I thought that by fighting in Spain this guy would have gained the Panzer leader trait, Panzer expert I think is called, but no, he was actually gaining the infantry expert, and well, it's a mistake from my side, just don't do it. And here again I did the mistake of not putting into production my carriers right now. I did it later. Again, just don't do it. As soon as you research the carriers, just put them in the production as soon as possible, as you want to rush for the Mare Nostrum focus ASAP. Concerning the Spanish Civil War, I may say a few words about it, because in the early stages my goal was to make a pocket with my two fast divisions around Madrid, and I think that it always works, because in all of my past attempts with the Spanish Civil War this strategy always worked. So I just let my troops go down south, and the Spanish AI, the phalangists, just they will just follow you wherever you go. And I think that this is really good, because they will not give the AI, the Republicans, the time to cut off your troops, basically. And yeah, by the time I realized that it was time to put the carriers into production, I think it was already a bit too late. But never mind, I did other small mistakes that delayed the research of the Mare Nostrum focus. And yeah, with this, I would say Madrid pocket closed, I just followed up by mopping up the enemy resistance. Again, the goal here is always to farm as much army experience as possible, as besides reorganizing the cavalry divisions, one goal of having a lot of army experience, at least 150, will be to improve the radio equipment. I noticed that in the Madrid pocket, and this was very nice to see, I managed to trap two Soviet mechanized forces. I really have no idea of how much this will impact, let's say, Operation Barbarossa for the Germans in 1941. I think that the Soviets will have plenty of time to rebuild their mechanized forces. Yeah. And okay, now again, another small mistake. I mean, I don't know if it's a real mistake or not, but if you see, some cities do have this big star inside a square. This is the enemy capital, and if you take the enemy capital, you and increase the chance of capitulation, basically. So if you want to win the Spanish Civil War fast, just go for those cities which have this big star inside a square. Here, I don't know why I decided to attack those divisions in the mountains with my cavalry divisions. That I think was the most stupid thing to do. I hoped to gain more experience out of that, but no, it turned out to be wrong. And so I decided to attack down there in the south, but down there it's just full of mountains and hills, and it's just not suited for the tanks. Research wise, I did another mistake. As you may have seen, I had this 50% research bonus for industry tech, and I invested it in the concentrated industry too. I should have gone for the fuel refining tech, as this is, I would say, a very time expensive technology to research. So if you get any bonus, I would recommend it to use it on this one. And the advantage of the fuel refining technology is that it gives you more fuel per unit of oil. And since there is a decision that you can trigger in 1939 or 1940, that will give you 13 units of oil in the Sirte, in Libya area. The fuel refining technology is very, very useful if you want to play as Italy and if you want to become, let's say, independent in terms of fuel. And here I was messing around with the technologies because I wanted to research the medium tank, but I also wanted to get the focus that would give me the bonus, the research bonus for the medium tank. And in order to get to this focus, I wanted to get convert the old stockpiled equipment, and to get that I needed to research to improve my artillery. So yeah, I decided to go for this way, which I think was maybe not the best way to go, but still I decided to go that way. You can also go with the Alpini focus. It's slightly longer than the convert all equipment, but at least it doesn't need any kind of research behind it. And again, in order to farm more army experience, I sent to China some lend-lease to basically some rifles and uniforms, cheap uniforms, that hopefully will help the Chinese to resist the Japanese onslaught, as well as allow me to drain some of their army experience. And by the time the Spanish Civil War ended, I finally decided to rearrange my my fast divisions with the template that you have just seen. So 3 light tank battalions, 8 motorized infantry battalions, 1 motorized artillery, and 1 motorized anti-tank unit. As this is, I think, a very nice template for armored divisions of Italy, and as soon as you get the medium tanks, just replace all the lights with mediums, and I think that's the way to go. An important aspect that I forgot to mention in all of my previous videos, in terms of political advisors, I would recommend going first of all with Chano, as he has the silent workhorse trait, as this will give you a very nice 18% of political power gain. And then go for Farinacci, as he has the ideology defense thing, as well as 5% of PP gain. And again, when you have this 23% of political power gain, it's very nice to have it. And since I had some extra political power left, I went for Desio for his nice 10% of fuel gain from units of oil, which is always very nice, especially because you're playing as Italy. And I decided to stock up political power to get the motivate research teams decision, and most important of all, I finally decided myself to put the signal company into production. As signal companies, I must confess, they are really nice, they're really helpful, they increase your stats, especially the organization of your units, and so I think it's a must to have them. And yeah, so with this I'm at the end already. I hope you did learn something from my video as well as from my mistakes, and as always, I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any question, just let me know in the comments below. I will be happy to answer them. Then take care guys, thank you very much for watching, and see you all in the next episode.